Adolf Hitler was born on April 20th, 1889 in Braunau am Inn, a small town in Austria-Hungary, near the German border. His father, Alois Hitler, was a strict customs officer, while his mother, Clara, was gentle and deeply devoted to her son. As a child, Hitler struggled with discipline and academics. He wanted to become an artist, but his father wanted him to enter civil service. After his father's death, young Adolf pursued art, but he was rejected twice by the Academy of Fine Arts in Vienna. During his time in Vienna, Hitler lived in poverty, spending time in homeless shelters and absorbing extreme nationalist and anti-Semitic ideologies that were widespread in Austria at the time. These years where formative anger, blame, and resentment took root in his heart. When World War I began in 1914, Hitler enlisted in the German army. He served as a messenger on the front lines, was wounded, and awarded the Iron Cross for bravery. But after Germany's defeat in 1918, Hitler was devastated. He, like many others, believed Germany had been stabbed in the back by traitors, particularly politicians, communists, and Jews. This belief would become a central theme in his future rhetoric. After the war, Germany was in political chaos. The economy had collapsed. The Treaty of Versailles had imposed humiliating conditions, including massive reparations. In 1919, Hitler joined the German Workers' Party, a small nationalist group. With his fiery speeches, he quickly rose to leadership and renamed it the National Socialist German Workers' Party, the Nazi Party. In 1923, Hitler and his followers attempted a failed coup known as the Beer Hall Putsch in Munich. He was arrested and sentenced to prison. While in prison, he wrote Mein Kampf, My Struggle, laying out his vision, nationalism, racial purity, anti-Semitism, and a totalitarian future for Germany. After his release, Hitler rebuilt the Nazi Party. By the early 1930s, Germany was in crisis again due to the Great Depression. Unemployment was soaring. Fear, anger, and desperation swept the nation. In 1933, Hitler was appointed Chancellor of Germany. Within months, he eliminated political opposition, banned other parties, and consolidated power. After President Hindenburg's death in 1934, Hitler declared himself Führer, the supreme leader of Germany. The Nazi regime transformed the country with powerful propaganda, youth indoctrination, and strict control over media, education, and culture. Hitler believed in the superiority of the Aryan race and saw Jews, Slavs, Roma, the disabled, and others as threats. Under his leadership, Germany passed laws stripping Jews of their rights, and later began rounding them up, isolating them in ghettos, and deporting them to concentration camps. This systematic persecution became known as the Holocaust, the genocide of over 6 million Jews, along with millions of others. In 1939, Hitler invaded Poland, igniting World War II. Over the next few years, Germany conquered much of Europe, France, Belgium, Norway, and others. But in 1941, Hitler made a fatal decision. He invaded the Soviet Union, underestimating the Russian winter and the Soviet resistance. Meanwhile, Germany declared war on the United States, bringing the world's most powerful economy into the fight. As years passed, the war turned against Hitler. The Allies pushed from the west, the Soviets from the east. German cities were bombed and supply lines collapsed. By early 1945, Berlin was surrounded. In his underground bunker, Hitler refused to surrender. Paranoid and delusional, he raged against the world and ordered the destruction of Germany's own infrastructure in what he called a scorched earth policy. On April 30th, 1945, Adolf Hitler took his own life, alongside his longtime partner, Eva Braun, whom he had married just a day earlier. Their bodies were burned as Soviet troops closed in. A week later, Germany surrendered. The war in Europe was over. World War II was the deadliest conflict in human history. Over 70 million people perished. The Holocaust left scars that will never heal. Cities were leveled, families destroyed, nations torn apart. After the war, Hitler's name became synonymous with evil. His ideology was discredited. Nazi leaders were tried for crimes against humanity at the Nuremberg trials. But even today, Hitler's story serves as a grim warning. It shows how a single man, driven by hate and ambition, can manipulate an entire nation and nearly the world into catastrophe. Adolf Hitler's story is not just about one man. It's about how fear, division, propaganda, and unchecked power can destroy even the most civilized of societies. His rise reminds us to guard democracy. His crimes remind us to protect humanity. And his fall reminds us that hate, no matter how powerful, will always lead to ruin.